What is up, everybody? Pretty dang good day yesterday, huh? Let's go over it real quick. Changing the format to just a couple of picks a day now instead of doing every single picks from every single game. So it went pretty well yesterday in our first day. We had a 5-2 day. Only two misses being Jaren Jackson Jr. and Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler ended up having somehow the Spurs backups were able to keep it close with the Miami Heat. That is not at all what I was anticipating. So that's a bummer. And then Jaren Jackson Jr. got in some foul trouble. I am just the master at calling or betting on people that get in foul trouble. So Jaren Jackson Jr. just didn't have the time to get the points that he needed. Also shot like 4 for 12 from the field, I think, in that game in yesterday's game. So just didn't hit there. But our three slip, I told you if to do the three slip, which was DeRozan, Fox, and Jared Allen. If you did that yesterday, you cashed out on that three slip, but just barely missed on the 5 slip because of Jaren Jackson Jr. But let's hopefully 5-2 day yesterday. Let's try to keep the streak alive, as well as our lock of the day streak, which is on 4 straight days. Let's get it. Okay, so a little bit of a problem. First game's at noon. Last game is at 8 o'clock. That's an 8-hour difference in game time. My favorite bet of the day, my lock of the day, was going to be Anthony Simons today. They're the highest expected total points for the day at 229. Last I checked. And there is the Nuggets versus the Blazers. The Nuggets have struggled for perimeter defense. They just allowed 27 points or something last night to De'Aaron Fox. I wanted to go over on Anthony Simons' points, which they're probably going to set at like 22.5, 23.5. So that was going to be my lock of the day. But unfortunately, that cannot be the case because they have not posted any line. And I don't want to just make a naked call on a guy that they haven't even posted a line for. So today's lock of the day, since I can't do Anthony Simons, is going to be a Phoenix Sun. Give me Devin Booker over 27.5 points. Looking at his recent history versus the Jazz, for some reason he has a vendetta versus the Jazz. Last couple of games, 33 points, 43 points, 25 points, 35 points, hitting in 3 of those 4 games at his line, which is set at 27.5. Obviously now, doesn't have Chris Paul, has to be the main scorer, main option. No reason to think that he can't do this. The Jazz don't have impeccable perimeter defense by any means, and history shows it versus the Suns. He gets kind of whatever he wants, it looks like, versus the Suns. Mike Conley's not the greatest perimeter defender. Donovan Mitchell at times can be pretty good. But Booker's probably going to be running. I'm assuming he's running the 1 at this point now with Chris Paul out of the lineup. So Devin Booker for over 27.5 history tells us, and he's on a little bit of obviously he's on a tear since he's got to be the main guy. 30 points just his last game versus the Rockets. So I anticipate Devin Booker to have a pretty big night tonight. Next up, same game, Donovan Mitchell. His line is set at 26.5. His recent matchups versus the Suns, he's had 41 points and 23 points. Also, he scored 30 points in 4 of his last 6 games. Donovan Mitchell has kind of low-key been sneaking under the just the radar right now, including 3 30-point games. He had 30 versus the Rockets, 37 versus the Lakers, and 33 versus the Magic, taking well over 15 shots in each of those games. And shooting his 3-ball pretty well. He's hit 5 threes in 3 straight games, over 5 threes in 3 straight games. So I like that tonight versus the Rockets, versus the Suns, my bad. The Suns, obviously, with that Chris Paul, have gotten a lot worse defensively. I'm assuming that maybe it'll be Devin Booker or Mikal Bridges maybe up on Donovan Mitchell, but he's been getting buckets no matter who he's been playing, so I anticipate the same thing tonight from Donovan Mitchell. Next up from a late game, I love this line. Give me C.J. McCollum. This close to making C.J. McCollum my lock of the day. I really thought about it. But C.J. McCollum obviously is playing on the Lakers. And the Lakers give up so much points to opposing teams' guards, especially elite scoring guards. I mean, just like I said, Donovan Mitchell just two games ago just had 30 on them. I anticipate C.J. McCollum, who's actually, he is on a sneaky care as well. 3 straight 30-point games for C.J. McCollum. He also has, in his last 5 games, he's got 40 30-point games. So C.J. McCollum, not Donovan Mitchell, my bad. Their stats are so similar at the moment. C.J. McCollum is on a little bit of a tear as well. If you guys want any more further validation, I don't know if you guys keep up too tremendously with the Lakers, but recent success versus the Lakers, 24 from Steph Curry, 33 from Klay Thompson in that same game. Like I said, Donovan Mitchell just had 30. When they played the Blazers just the other night, Anthony Simons, he had 29. I think it's pretty fair to say that 21 from Chris Middleton, not a guard, but on the wing a little bit. I think it's fair to say that this C.J. McCollum over 24.5 points is an easy lock for the day. Okay, now the early game. I just have a feeling it's going to be a blowout. The 76ers were able to blow out the Timberwolves pretty easily. And the New York Knicks are not as good as the Minnesota Timberwolves. I do have a couple lines, though, that I do like. I'm going to go under on Randle's points this time around, okay? Randle had 31 in their last matchup, but Embiid didn't play, okay? So I think last time they played, they had a pretty COVID-ridden roster, the 76ers did. If you don't remember, earlier in the season, the 76ers got hit with COVID pretty hard. They were only playing like 2 or 3 guys, real guys, like a night. So I'm going to go under on Randle's points tonight. They don't give up a whole lot to bigs. The 76ers don't, for obvious reasons. So I don't anticipate Julius Randle to hit his 20-point mark, 21-point mark. Also, as well as R.J. Barrett's back. And apparently when R.J. Barrett's on the floor with him, he just can't play as well. He still rebounds pretty good and he still facilitates well, but just scoring the basketball when R.J. Barrett is on the floor, those things just don't correlate for some reason with Julius Randle. So we're going to go under on his 20.5 points tonight. All right, and then, of course, Harden again. Last time he hit every single one of his lines. This time around, he's got a 40.5 PRA, so they finally raised that up a little bit. His points has been bumped up 4 points to 23.5. His assist is now up to 10.5, and he has a 2.5 three-pointers. Now, I really thought about this three-pointer because he shot it really well in his first game, made 5 threes his first game. Knicks' perimeter defense is really bad. Obviously, Harden, I think, is going to get whatever he wants tonight, and that's what I'm scared of. I'm scared that he just won't have the time. But if I had to go with the line, it's going to be his points. We're going to go over 23.5 points for Harden. He had 17 in the first half last week. I'm hoping and I'm praying that's an 8-point spread, I believe, for this game last time I checked, that it stays within 8 this entirety of the game so that Harden can stay on the floor, Harden can get buckets. He played 35 minutes last time around versus the Timberwolves, even in a blowout. So hopefully we can see the same kind of thing from him and he can get to that point mark. But don't disregard this 3-pointer win. I'm so close to choosing that 3-point win. And my last line, a little bit of a sleeper, okay? Charlotte Hornets play the Detroit Pistons. Crazy stat, the both times they've played the Pistons this year, they've dropped 140 points on them. Not saying that that's going to happen again. But the Pistons just last night gave up a lot to Jason Tatum. The Pistons gave up a lot to small forwards, especially the lead scoring small forwards, and that's what Miles Bridges has turned into. Miles Bridges is averaging 19.9 points per game on the season. Last time they played, he had 25, 4, and 3. And the first time they played, he didn't have a fantastic game, but another small forward did named Kelly Oubre, who dropped 32 points. So, for those reasons, I'm going to go over on Miles Bridges, 19.5 points. He's been, playing very well this season. Last couple of games, 29 points, 28 points. His stats are just a little bit boosted because Charlotte Hornets of late have had a couple of overtime games. But he gets his points well before overtime. Most of the time, overtime doesn't boost too much of people's stats, especially because it's only 5 minutes of overtime, and sometimes not a lot happens in overtime. But I like it with Miles Bridges. Pistons struggle to guard small forwards, and Miles Bridges can sometimes pour in buckets all the time. So we're gonna go over on Miles Bridges, 19.5 points. All right, guys, that's gonna be my picks for today. I give you guys 6 of them. And I'm going to say 7 because whatever they end up posting Anthony Simons for on his points, go over on Anthony Simons' points. Okay, that was going to be my lock of the day, but I didn't want to make my lock of the day a line that wasn't up yet. So a perfect 3-slip, in my opinion, tonight with my picks for today would be a Miles Bridges over on points, a Devin Booker over on points, and CJ McCollum over on his points would be a perfect 5-slip, and a perfect 3-slip would, perfect 3-slip, my bad, and a perfect 5-slip would be the same exact thing, Booker, Bridges, and McCollum. Add Harden's points and add Donovan Mitchell's points. I think that would be a perfect 5-slip, being Booker, Donovan, Harden, CJ, and Miles. And don't be afraid. I know some people are going to be like, I don't really like to bet on Miles Bridges. Then throw in the under on Randle's points, and if you don't want to bet on Bridges. But like I said, yesterday we did really good. 3-slip hit yesterday. Hopefully the 5-slip can hit yet today. We're the miss by one king, as I always say. And creeping closer to 600 subs. So I'm super excited about that. We keep steadily growing. Every day videos are doing really well. I'm getting a lot of interaction with fans and stuff like that. So thank you guys so much. Hopefully I can win you more money today because I know I did last night. Let's get it today.